welcome back to my channel. Today we are making an Edwardian ensemble just in time for a beautiful midsummer afternoon. This outfit is inspired by my absolute adoration for the Anne of Gables series. I've been hooked on this book series since I was real little. I love Ellen Montgomery books so much. If you haven't read them, highly recommend. Besides the Anne of Gables books, I also recommend the Sarah books and the extended Avonlea series, as well as a lot of her short stories. So with that being said, today's inspiration stems directly from a Anne of Gables storyline. So think lots of frilly lace collars, beautiful hats, and beautiful full-length Edwardian walking skirts. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started on this project by talking a little bit more about the fabrics, the costume inspiration, and finally, the patterns. So without further ado, let's go ahead and walk back into the Edwardian era. Okay guys, now that I've told you all about the Edwardian ensemble we are making today, I'm going to go ahead and show you the patterns, the fabric, and the inspiration behind it, and the really stinking cute hat that I found. It's really cute. So that being said, let's go ahead and look at our patterns. So originally, now I'm debating this for time because I only have 2 weeks till I fly up to Alaska. I was thinking of making a chemise for underneath. The problem is I don't know if I have the right fabric because I would want it to be white and I do not have a lot of white fabric currently. But in the rare case that I do find something, I will make a chemise. Okay, so my current plan of action is to make a bodice that looks like this. This is the, reading this backwards here, B5970 pattern by Butterick. I really like the bodice piece right here. These are two separate pieces. I love the skirt. The only problem is I'm not sure I really want to add the lace details. After you'll see the fabric, you'll understand why. So I think what we will do is make the bodice out of here, and it features the pigeon blouse. So here is a picture for reference. Anyway, long story short, in the Edwardian period, it had one of the most controversial corsets. I don't remember the name. It has something to do with pigeons, which is a little random. But anyway, it makes it look like you have the same fullness that a pigeon has. And this was a corset that actually really messed up your back and could cause really bad issues if you had things like scoliosis or other bone density related issues. And so I'm not making a corset. I already have back problems. I don't need one that will make them worse. So anyway, the backup skirt pattern is this lovely lady, and this is McCall's M8231, and I'm thinking of making the walking skirt this pattern because this is a little bit more towards the style I'm leaning towards than this is. And then finally, for more activities down the road, I'm hoping to use this pattern to make some really cute aprons. My hope is to recreate a bunch of Edwardian things this summer, and so I also found this pattern off of eBay, and the hope is to make this stinking adorable sailor suit, and I have all the fabric, so you'll most certainly be seeing a lot of these patterns popping up over the summer. So that being said, let's cover the fabrics, and then from there we will go to the floor, cut everything out, and get started. And I'm really stinking excited because while the filming location is going to be fairly simple, I may or may not have someone kind of special to me who has a professional video camera who might be filming me. So you might see some really high quality footage at the end of this video, which is the hope. But we may have a really cute date there, and then he may be filming me. Anyway, I'm not gonna give too much details away, but I'm super excited. So that being said, let's go ahead and look at our fabric. Okay guys, I am back with our fabric. Now mind you, this is subject to change depending on how much lace I add, but we have this lovely circular tablecloth with this beautiful lace that I thought would highlight the Edwardian essentials, which is lace plus more lace. And then this tablecloth, as soon as I saw it, I was like, that can make a walking skirt. I know it doesn't really look like it from this angle, but essentially what it has is a bunch of beautiful stripes that are very similar actually to the lace details that you find in a lot of traditional Edwardian clothing. And I thought if I cut it the right way, which would be on the straight of grain, all these beautiful stripes will line up and it will look super classy. So that being said, let's go ahead and head to the floor, cut out the skirt patterns, the bodice patterns, and then from there we will go ahead and start sewing things together. But before I forget, let me show you this hat. So for reference, I've been doing a ridiculously large amount of research recently on hats, primarily because I want to get more in tune with all of the accessories that I use for future historical projects. So recently I went on a date to an antique store, and while we were there, he ended up showing me a really cute stinking hat, and I saw it and I was like, oh dang, I could use that. Because unfortunately Amazon does not have a lot of very good replicas right now of the type of hat I'm looking for. So I'm looking for what is called a Edwardian canotier hat. Now, I don't have a lot of background information on this one, but long story short, they are the straw hats that you see depicted most often in films that are inspired by things like the Titanic or Anne and Green Gables or other movies that take place during this era. So before I keep rambling, here is our really stinking cute hat. Now, I'm not gonna lie, the green might throw off the colors. I'm hoping not, but I just want to show you what she looks like on. And I'm gonna do what's called a Gibson roll, which is also, it's kind of hard to take myself seriously with this on. A Gibson roll, which is very popular during the early 1900s, popularized by the Gibson girl, and it's just this cute little, like, very fluffy bun, and it'll sit on the back of my head. And what it does is, if you put it on right, it will keep the hat in place without you needing a hat pin. So I will most likely have the hat either like this, or like this. So that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, I'm going to give you a mini tour. So these are all the bodice pieces. That's part of the sleeves. These are all the pieces I still have to cut out. This is what I'm cutting out currently. I got 2 pieces cut out for the shirt, and then these are all the skirt pieces. Look at how many stinking pieces there are. It's insane, and each piece has a lining piece. I am going crazy. It is skirt time. We're gonna go ahead and lay all the pieces out and try to get as much as we physically can done in the next hour and a half. The fire alarm just went off and woke me up from a really solid nap, which is why I'm so rosy right now. But here are all our pieces. Let's go ahead and lay them out and see how far we're gonna get. So without further ado, here is the skirt. Well, guys, I did not realize how big this skirt was. Slight faux pas on my part, but here's a good look of what the back panels look like. So we have the side backs, then the center back. So I'm going to go ahead and attach all of them together, and then we will get started working on the rest of the panels. Okay, guys, just like the back of the skirt, now I'm going to work on the front panels and go ahead and attach the side fronts to the center front, and then from there we're going to add a panel. We're going to add a slit on either side so I have room for some pockets. And then all we have to do is attach both of these to the sides of the back, which is currently draped over my sewing machine case. And then add a waistband and do a couple distinct and very obvious pleats. Okay guys, so I went ahead and added a cute little pleat in the bag as the instructions say. Now this is the inside, but this is what the outside looks like. And this is the center back of the skirt. So now I'm going to go ahead and attach the back panels to the front panels, and then leave enough on one of the sides so that I have space to attach hooks and eyes as a closure. And then once all that's done, we're going to go ahead and attach this to a waistband, and we will be done with our skirt. Now, technically the skirt's instructions has a lining in it, but I'm trying to speed sew this process so it will not have as much accuracy as a normal project, but I'm most certainly going to be making this piece again with different material in the future. So in the meantime, I'm just going to stick with this and call it a day, but for future projects, we'll go ahead and add a little bit more detail and historical accuracy. So that being said, let's keep sewing, and I will meet you back when the skirt's mostly completed. Okay everyone, so here's the skirt mostly sewn and we have the side slit finished, so I have room to put a pocket if I want to. This is the waistband. I'm going to go ahead and sew it and attach it to the skirt, and then all I have left is to sew a secondary little band with like a little bit of a button so I can have the skirt nice and uniform around my waist and it fits nice and neat. So that being said, let's go ahead and wrap up the skirt and then we'll get to start on the monstrosity of a bodice, which I'm a tiny bit nervous about because it took like 25 pieces. So we'll see, but we'll see how far we get tonight. But that being said, let's go ahead and finish up our skirt. Well guys, we have the skirt finished. Now I tied a really tight waistband primarily because I kept the slit fairly open so I'll have space for a pocket, because I can't stand the idea of wearing a dress like this and having zero pockets. But here's our skirt. Hopefully you can see how wide the train is. I think she turned out okay. Not my favorite thing on the planet, but mind you, first time for everything, you know. So now that we have the skirt done, let's go ahead and move on to the bodice. I don't know why I'm dancing. I think it's because I'm like so fed up with the skirt. The hem took, feels like months. It wasn't months, but you know, because she has got a hefty train. Yeah. Full-on train there. It'll look gorgeous in the final result, but currently it's a pain in my rear end. So that being said, let's go ahead and move on to the bodice. Good morning everyone. Today we are starting to work on the bodice for this project. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the lining portion because we are lining this bodice, at least according to the pattern. So here are our lining pieces. We have a center front, a back, and a side back. And so what we're going to do is attach the side back pieces right here and then go ahead and do a basting stitch around all the edges just so everything remains nice and neat and doesn't tug. And then all we have to do is do some darts here. And then the rest of the pattern pieces for the bodice are over here, for the sleeves are over here, and then I still have a couple pieces left to cut out, but we will get to those when we need to. So I'm going to go ahead and sew the lining together. I'll meet you back once we're done, and then we'll start working on the rest of the bodice. All right, see you in a little bit. Okay guys, so we've gone ahead and completed the lining, and I went ahead and added boning as the instructions suggested. Now we're going to go ahead and start with the main body of the bodice. First thing we're going to do is baste around the edges of this lace bit, and then we're going to place her on top and line up the seams. Once that's done, we'll get started working with the lower portion of the bodice that features the pigeon corset detail I was telling you about at the beginning of the video. So I'm going to go ahead and baste it on and then sew it onto the lining. And then once that's done, we'll get started on probably the most complex bit of this shirt. So that being said, let's get started. Okay guys, we've gone ahead and added the lace overlay to the top of the bodice. Now we're just going to gather in between these pin sections here, and then we're going to go ahead and baste around the edges after we attach this. Once that's done, we'll go ahead and finish up by working on the back, and then all we have left to do is work on the sleeves. Okay guys, so we've gone ahead and attached everything, and now we're going to go ahead and repeat the same process with the back. just like the front, we're gonna go ahead and baste the two lace panels together, attach them to the bodice like so, and then we'll attach these gather pieces to the bottom half. Okay guys, now that the back and the front are both done, I'm gonna go ahead and attach them at the waist and the shoulder seams. Well guys, now that we've gotten the primary bodice sewn, we're gonna go ahead and attach the back fasteners, which I'm just using hooks and eyes. And then from there, all we have to do is bind the base seam around the waist and then sew the collar panels and the sleeves. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the binding and sew the hooks and eyes on. And then once that's done, we'll go ahead and finish up with the collar and the sleeve portion of the bodice. Here's what she looks like though. She fits nice and sleek. And we're gonna just add the hooks and eye closures here and the binding down here. And then all we have to do is add the collar up here. So that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Okay guys, we've gone ahead and bound the edges of the bodice, and now we're gonna go ahead and work on the collar. Okay guys, so the collar has these two pieces, and we're gonna gather this lace into the sides on both ends and then sew it and then turn it inside out. Once that's done, we're gonna go ahead and attach it to the neckline right here, and then we will go ahead and add the final hooks and eye closures. The last thing we have after that is to sew our sleeves, and we'll be done with the bodice. The collar attached, we have the bodice completely done. Other than the sleeves, I attached a bunch of hooks and eyes. As you can see, I cannot close this thing by myself, so I'm gonna have someone help me when I'm finally filming this. But here's what she looks like from the side. We have that lovely tucking look to it. Now I'm gonna find a little button to make a cute little brooch at the top, but now all we have left to do is sew the sleeves. So let's go ahead and move towards that, and then once we're done, I will go ahead and show you the ensemble together. Now please note, I am debating making a couple petticoats, just because I want the skirt to look as full as the blouse does, but otherwise, here's what she looks like. I think it turned out really good so far. So that being said, let's go ahead and finish her up. Okay guys, for the sleeves, we have two different portions. We have the regular sleeve, and then we have the drapey portion of the sleeve. Now for the regular sleeve, it got cut in half, so I just need to do these seams here, attach it to the top, but before I do that, I need to work on the squares. Now in order to get this really gorgeous drapey look, we need to add some extra lace, so here's my plan. We're going to use the original lace from the tablecloth to add that drapey effect to the sleeve cuffs, and then as well as the beautiful lacy details as seen here. Now that'll be hand sewn on once I attach the sleeves. Threads everywhere. Anyway, once I attach the sleeves, and then otherwise, that's everything we need to do. So I'm going to go ahead and get going on all that, and I will meet you back once half the sleeves are done, and then once that's done, attach the sleeves, and then attach the lace around the collar, and our beautiful blouse is finished. Okay guys, now that we have trimmed the bottom sleeve cuff, we're going to go ahead and attach it to the base of this, and then we're going to add this cute little laces trim. Now once that's done, all we have to do is attach it to the bodice, and then we will have completed the bodice. And the last step we need to do for this project is work on creating a cummerbund belt for the dress. And we're going to make that out of a gorgeous burgundy brocade, which I'll show you once we're done. So that being said, let's finish up our sleeves, and I'll meet you back when we're finished. Well guys, we have the main shirt completely done. The last thing we need to do to finish her off is to add a ruffled trim around the sleeves and the collar right here, and this is what it'll look like. The goal is to try to have this in one cohesive piece, but it's gonna go like this and wrap around up here like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and add that, and then I will show you what the full bodice looks like. I still can't manage to get it all the way buttoned up in the back, but I think it fits pretty nicely. It's nice and breezy, surprisingly. And now that this is mostly done, we will move on to our final step, which is the belt. But first, let's add our trim. I'll show you the ending, and then we'll move on to the final step of this project. So let's go. Guys, how did this turn out so freaking cute? I love this. Oh my gosh, my Anne Green Gables fantasies are coming alive right now. She's still not fully buttoned in the back, but that's okay. All we have left to do with this project is sew the cummerbund belt, and then I wanted to show you real quick what the details for earrings, jewelry, hair, etc. So we have this teeny tiny itty bitty little pocket watch, and I was thinking of placing it on the side, like here, maybe, once the belt is completed. And then we also have these really stinking cute little locket earrings that I was given a while ago, and they do open up, but they're a little bit on the old side, so they're slightly rusted. But that being said, all we have left is the belt, the brooch, and then we will head off to romp through the meadows, about 25 minutes from where I live. The only thing is I just need to make sure that this slit is not super visible. This originally was going to be a pocket, and it still will be, but it might show if I'm spinning around a lot. But otherwise, she's so